going to preview the Baylor at TCU football game, and the game will be played on ESPN Plus at 2:30 p.m. Central Time on November 18th. And currently TCU is favored by 13 points. It's gone down a little bit, but things could change between now and game time, as we all know. So I'm going to go over the team stats for TCU this year, and they've been inconsistent offensively, and I'll explain why after get through like some players keep an eye on TCU's offense. They're an air raid offense like under Kendall Briles. That's their OC. They average 28.9 points per game, 252 first downs, 157.8 rushing yards per game, 297.1 passing yards per game, 66 for 149 on third down, 15 for 27 on fourth. They have allowed 17 sacks, 42 tackles for loss, 14 interceptions, and 3 fumbles. And they have allowed 3 block kicks this year. In fact, 2 of those were field goals that cost them the game against West Virginia, let's be clear. 34 pass breakups allowed, and 27 quarterback hurries. Time possession like 27 minutes, 7 seconds. Average 2 or 3 deep on the offense line. 319.8, 3. Repeat the 3 pounds. So I do not know if Chandler Morris will even play in this game for TCU, and it wouldn't shock me. He's number 4, a 6 foot 190 pound quarterback. That's a freshman, I believe. If not, he's a sophomore, but I'm gonna double check that real fast. I just know he's got to be an underclassman. Yeah, he's actually a sophomore, but yeah, I'll fix that on my end on that. So I'm going to correct it right away. He's a sophomore. He could run the ball and throw it, but the problem is he's been banged up and he's been out with a knee injury since that Iowa State game. So the starting quarterback since then, which we could very well see on Saturday, is Josh Hoover. He's definitely a true freshman, number 10, 6 foot 1 inch, 196 pound quarterback. He's not a scrambler. He's more of a pocket passer. Yeah, that's the truth. And the best running back for TCU is Imani Bailey, number 9, 5 foot 9 inch, 207 pound running back. That's a junior. He's already got over 1,000 yards rushing this season, and he does catch the ball out of the backfield some. Though Trey Sanders is the next closest guy, but he didn't even get a rushing attempt last week for whatever reason, I believe. Number 2, 6 foot 222 pound running back. That's a junior. And obviously after that, it's a big drop off. So I'm not going to mention those guys in the running back group. But obviously the best pass catcher on the year is Savion Williams. Number 18, 6 foot 5 inch, 225 pound wide receiver. That's a junior. And they do use their wide receivers sometimes to run the ball too, like on jet sweeps and stuff. Potentially JP Richardson, number 7, 6 foot, 109 pound wide receiver. That's a junior. And y'all could see the stats in the description below, so y'all could see it. Jerry Wiley, of course, number 19, 6 foot 7 inch, 260 pound tight end. That's a senior. And it's not including Jalen Robertson, number 13, 5 foot 9 inch, 108 pound wide receiver. That's a senior. All those 3 guys I mentioned, up to this point, in terms of receiving, have above 300 yards receiving on the year. Though the questionable with the undisclosed injury is Warren Thompson, number 84, 6 foot 3 inch, 205 pound wide receiver. That's a senior. Same thing goes for Dylan Wright, number 16, 6 foot 3 inch, 210 pound wide receiver. That's a junior. But they have used JoJo Earl, number 11, 5 foot 10 inch, 176 pound wide receiver. That's a junior. And Major Everhart, but he didn't catch the ball last few weeks. But that's besides the point. Number 22, 5 foot 11 inch, 175 pound wide receiver. That's a freshman. And questionable with the undisclosed injury is like their other tight end Chase Curtis, Number 81, 6'5", 235-pound tight end. That's a senior. And they do have like Jack Beck. That's number 18, 6'2", 220-pound wide receiver. That's a junior. Though he's not questionable with undisclosed, so I don't know about Chandler Morris if he's going to even play in this game. And I think that's a problem for TCU this year offensively. Not only that, they lost a lot of good talent from not just the skill position, but the offensive line. And quarterback play has just not been as good and turned the ball over a bunch more. And the quarterback's making bad mistakes at times. And I know wide receivers don't run their routes fully, so that's another reason why for their struggle. But the defense, they run like a 3-3-5. They allow 24.8 points per game, 203 first downs allowed, 150.1 rushing yards per game, 244.5 passing yards per game, 58 for 152 on third down, 8 for 23 on fourth down. They have 22 sacks this year and 55 tackles for loss. They have 7 interceptions and 3 fumbles, and they have blocked 2 kicks this year. 32 pass breakups, 27 quarterback hurries, time possession, 32 minutes, 53 seconds, but the average 3 deep at the defensive line, 292.2, repeating 2 pounds. If you're looking just at nose tackle alone, in a 3 deep, 320, but defensive end, 278 in the third. So what are some players to keep an eye on defensively? Like Namdi Obazar, number 4, 6'3", 215-pound linebacker. That's a senior. Jamoy Hodge, number 6, 6'2", 235-pound linebacker. That's a senior. Mark Perry, number 3, 6 foot, 215-pound safety. That's a senior. Shad Banks Jr., number 0, 6 foot, 250-pound linebacker. That's a senior. Miller Bradford, number 28, 5'11", 290-pound safety. That's a senior. Abe Kamara, number 1, 6 foot, 190-pound safety. That's a junior. Dominic Williams, number 52, 6 foot 2", 320-pound defensive lineman. That's a sophomore. Johnny Hodges, number 57, 6 foot 2", 240-pound linebacker. That's a junior. Josh Newton, number 2, 6 foot, 109-pound cornerback, as like a CB. That's a senior. Bud Clark, number 21, 6 foot 2", 209-pound safety. That's a sophomore. Paul Oyewale, Oyewale, number 7, 97, 6 foot 4", 270-pound defensive lineman. That's a freshman. Caleb Fox, number 90, 6 foot 3", 295-pound defensive lineman. That's a junior. Avery Helm, number 24, 6 foot 1", 185-pound cornerback as a CB. That's a junior. Josh Foster, number 15, 6 foot 2", 200-pound safety. That's a senior. I'm going to go ahead and mention the next 2 defensive linemen, like Sony Missy, number 99, MISI, 6 foot 2", 330-pound defensive lineman. That's a senior. Rick Debrew, number 44, 6 foot 2", 280-pound defensive lineman. That's a senior. Timon Mitchell, number 91, 6 foot 3", 310-pound defensive lineman. That's a junior. And the last player I'm going to mention is like Zach Marcelli, Marcelli, MARCHESELLI, 6 foot 2", 225-pound linebacker. That's a junior. Their special teams, of course, their punter is Jordy Sandy, number 31, 6 foot 3", 215-pound punter. That's a senior. He does have 1 rushing attempt, but it was for negative 8 yards. And Griffin Kell's a kicker, and he's number 39, 6 foot, 190-pound kicker. That's a senior. So yeah, I'm just going to point out he's not been as good on field goals this year as compared to last year. So I'm going to just say this. Obviously, TCU is not the same team as last year. They're 2-5 in the Big 12, like Baylor is, and they're 4-6 overall. So special teams wise, we have to play a lot better than last week. You can't have special teams mistakes like giving up big yards on kickoff returns or punt returns or bubbling the ball. I mean, on a punt return or a kick return, especially if you turn the ball over to set up the other team with excellent field position. I'm just saying that point blank, and make your field goals, make your extra points. I mean, kick the ball to the end zone every time, and have good kick return coverage, punt return coverage, good blocking on both the field goals and punts. I'm just saying, and don't kick the ball out of bounds for a penalty on a kickoff. That's obvious, and limit your penalties across the board. And you got to show some pulse, and you got to play with pride here. And I know we're not going to make a bowl game, but TCU may not either. And they really need this win to give themselves a shot, because next game for TCU is Oklahoma and Oklahoma. I don't know. I don't think they're going to beat Oklahoma at Oklahoma, but that's besides the point. You got to focus on this game. Yeah, I mean, that's the truth. And defensively, we have to be better than last week. You got to force turnovers. Get pressure on the quarterback. And make the quarterback has Josh Hoover's in the game. He has shown at times this year a brilliance, but yet some bad freshman mistakes. And part of it's like play calling. The play calling for TCU has been inconsistent as well. So I'm just going to say that up front about Kendall Briles, how he runs this offense. And honestly, and they've been losing a lot more close games this year than all last year. It's hard to replicate that. I mean, and yes, they came back against Texas, but they still lost by a field goal. They were down 26-6, and they still lost. They just started way too slow in that game, and I know there's one of two ways that TCU is going to be: playing really good the following game, or really bad after a letdown. I mean, almost comeback, an emotional comeback win, and like one game beat them twice. I'm just going to say that. Just be truthful, I mean, about all this. And this is a game right here against a rival, and you got to show energy from the jump and start faster across the board. You got to be better in pass defense. Like, don't allow some chunk plays to happen. And at the same time, we don't want to give up a lot of first down conversions on third down or even in second down. We got to be better than that. Getting turnovers would really help in this game. And we got to win the turnover battle. We got to win the penalty battle. And I would dare to say, now on the opposite side of the ball of things, we got to take care of the ball better than we did last week. A scoop and score and a pick six, you can't allow that to happen. You got to have your offensive line play a lot better. But I know that's going to be an area that Baylor's going to have to look at in the offseason. I tell you that much. I mean, I'm just telling the truth about it. But you get the whole point. And maybe this is a game right here where you can run the ball. Because TCU has been susceptible against the run this year. And if you could win a time possession, that would really help. Especially keeping an offense like TCU off the field as much as possible. You got to have your pass catcher step up. Like catching the ball and not just getting deep. Getting a good spot and then drop it. You got to have your tight end step up and pass catchers, wide receivers, even running backs, even. And the blocking against the run, he's to be better in a pass blocking. You got to give Blake Shapen some time. And you cannot make mistakes. And in all this, if you get some turnovers, you got to get points off turnovers. And of course, you want to limit the points off turnovers as a defense. If not, you don't have any points off turnovers for TCU in this game. I'm just saying that because look at last week. That's what really dug us in the hole quickly. And this, I know the spread is what it is, and nothing will surprise me about this game, like a Baylor outright win, or a TCU close win, or TCU blowout win. I'm just being realistic. Nothing will surprise me in this game. Both these teams are bad teams, and yes, I'm saying TCU is bad because it's truthful. And they may not make a bowl either. But I know Baylor's definitely not making a bowl unless they go 5-7 and then had the academic thing. But even then, what's the likelihood of that happening? But you get the whole point. And you got to pick it up from last week. because you cannot play like you did against Kansas State again. You can't let that happen twice in a row. And fortunately, TCU is not the same level as Kansas State here. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. You got to get ready for this game and don't emotionally check out of the game and say, let's just get to the offseason already because I want to enter a transfer portal. You got to stay focused. I mean, for the game here and play for pride and do it for your seniors because it's been a long time for some of those guys to beat TCU. I'm just saying, like, even 2021, we didn't beat them. 2020, we didn't beat them. I mean, give them, those seniors, a chance to beat TCU. I mean, we only beat them twice since 2014, including that 61-58 game, mind you, and that was 2019. But you get the whole point in all this. And I just know no matter what happens from here on out, there's going to have to be some changes. Whether it's at head coach or assistant coach or the staff, I definitely know they're going to have to address the transfer portal and get more. Address the transfer portal and get some players just to help rebuild this roster. And I know it's not like an instant fix because you got to develop guys too, but you get the whole point. But as for this game, we got to come out ready. You can't let one game beat you twice. You can't have the points out turnovers because you don't want to give teams touchdowns off your mistakes. I mean, I'm not talking about just a pick six, but I'm talking about a scoop and score and even like a football fumble the ball on a punt, and then the other team gets back on defense again, and then they score on us. That's what kind of hurt us last week, and not starting as fat. I mean, we responded after Kansas State scored the first touchdown of the game. After we scored a touchdown, we took steps backwards. You just can't do that. I mean, that's the whole truth about this. And I know it sounds crazy, but to say I think this is potentially a winnable game. TCU is not as good this year. They've shown they could struggle. But I know we have too, and I'm not totally confident going into this game, to be honest. But let's just go out there and play a lot better on the road than we did a week ago. That's all I gotta say. And we have nothing to lose here except potentially going 3-8. But that's the whole point. TCU has the pressure. They need to find a way to make a bowl if they can. Because that's the truth in all this. And remember, they struggled against Texas Tech. They beat BYU pretty good at home, but then they went to Iowa State and they got beat. I mean, they're not a good road team, though. I know they lost to West Virginia at home this year. They lost to Colorado at home this year too. So this team is not invincible at home by any stretch of the imagination. And last week was only our first road loss of the year, but that's against a really good Kansas State football team. This is a potential winnable game here, and I know they beat SMU and they beat their cupcake game also, but you get the whole point about TCU. They're not the same team as a year ago, and whatever happens, nothing will surprise me at all, like I said, because I could really see a lot of things happening. And they lost at Tech, actually, not at home against Tech. They lost to Texas at home too. Yeah, and they lost to K-State on the road pretty bad, 41-3, where they just got ran over, kind of like somebody standing right there and there's a bus coming at you and you didn't see it coming potentially. But you get the whole point in all this. They're not, and yeah, Nichols was the other team that they played at home this year, but you get the whole point. Just got to come out hungry and be more consistent and not try to self-inflict yourselves. And you got to be better in the red zone on offense and on defense. And you got to be better on special teams, unlike these last few weeks. Because special teams does matter. And sometimes in games that are close. It's the truth, and you got to execute route running as well, make better decisions. And I know Blake Shapen's not throwing a lot of picks this year, and thank goodness he's cut that down. But you get the point. You got to take care of the ball and not fumble the ball either. And go into this game, and we're going to have to just wait and see what happens. And this is just a preview of this game, and we're going to have to wait and see what happens, not just in this game, but going forward as a program. I'm just saying, because I just know there's going to have to be some changes. I have to think, no matter what. It's a matter of what are the changes going to be. Head coach, maybe? Assistant coach / some of the staff? Or even both. Because it's the truth. And I'm not being negative on this by any stretch of the imagination. And I get we are trying really hard. But let's just try to get TCU, knock them out of the bowl game here. Let's try to do that. That's the best thing we could do right now against this team, against TCU. Let's try to knock them out of the bowl, definitely this week, if possible. So anyways, if you like this content, like and subscribe it. I'll see you guys later. On the road to 600 subscribers, of course, ultimate goal is 1,000 more, so I can make money off this. Of course, liking the video, commenting the video really helps the YouTube algorithm so more people can see it. Sharing the video does help too. So more people could watch, and if you're watching and you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button. It's free. Hit the notification bell as well.